amassing money for the sake of having money, for the sake of that status, was what was driving me. And once I lost it all, I realized like that wasn't enough. That wasn't a good, strong driving force, because it could be gone overnight. So now I'm just driven by impact and what I'm doing, what I'm creating.
The Perspective Podcast is fuel for your mind and creative grind. Each week, my guests and I provide the skills for thinking bigger, overcoming adversity, and making an impact with your work. Today, I'm chopping it up with one of the most jacked and creatively talented painting machines on the planet, talking about Ruben Rojas. Welcome to the Perspective Podcast, brother. How are you doing today?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you for having me and for that intro.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, me and Ruben don't really know each other. We met briefly at the Summit of Greatness. You know, I talk all about like Lewis House and how important that conference was to me last year, going back again this year. And this guy's paintings were the backdrop. It's the backdrop of Lewis House's podcast. But I guess I saw you for like 2 seconds at the nightclub thing, and then we connected through Instagram, and I've just been studying you. I'm always observing people in a non-creepy way of like headhunting people who I think would be amazing guests for this show. And that's how we found each other. And, you know, I hit you up and here we are today.
Yep.
Are you going
I'll
back?
be back this year as well.
Okay,
yeah.
I was just going to ask you.
We got some fun happening.
Yeah. What you doing this time? Or can you talk about it yet?
I don't know if I can tell you. You're going to have to find out.
All right. Yeah. I'm taking my wife here this time. Like that was an crazy experience. Lewis hooked it up, and yeah, I'm definitely going back this year. But so for those who don't know, give us a brief Wikipedia page summary about yourself.
The brief version. There really isn't a brief version. I went to school to be a doctor.
Whatever you want, man.
I went to school to be a doctor. I actually have degrees in biology, chemistry, almost physics. Orthopedic surgeon is what I wanted to do. My focus was exercise science. Fell into real estate. My first year of real estate, I made a lot. My first month in real estate, I made a lot of money. So I'm like, I think I'm going to go down this path, continue down that path. Because the other thought was like, I'm going to be bald, fat, in debt about $500,000 by the time I get out of school. And that didn't really entice me. Then I lost everything in 2008 for killing it for a couple of years. Bankrupt, had to rebuild, shifted to financial services, was in financial services for exactly a decade. Halfway through that, painted my first mural. Then I started this transition of being half in and half out. Can't live in mediocrity. It's worse. I'd rather be in pure failure or over here on success. But if you're in that middle mediocre zone, it's the death zone. It is the worst thing for you mentally, physically, everything. So then I finally took the leap, and I'm like, I got to do this. This is what I have to do. What the community demands of me, the messages that people got from the work that I do. And here I am, full-time artist. And basically what I say is I entice the viewer and invite the viewer to see the world through the lens of love. We have a lot of negativity and things that bombard us of how we're not good enough. We need bigger boobs. We need to freeze the fat. We need a bigger truck to enhance our masculinity. Buy things, consume this and that. So I'm like, why don't we just be grateful for what we have? Think about love. Forget thinking about fear so much. Think about abundance. Think about our self-worth, and realize that we belong here and we have purpose. And it doesn't have to be as grandiose as being the president or a CEO or Elon Musk. You could be you and just be the best parent you are. Be the best son you are. And that could be it. So don't think it's this huge thing. It just could be you. So that's kind of the quickest version I can lay that in.
Giving me goosebumps, man. That's why I knew you'd be a part of this show and just a good fit, because I line so much with what you're doing in terms of, instead of chasing the glory, chase the impact. So I want to know, on your site, you talk about your mission is to ignite creativity, inspire others to see the world through the lens of love, which you're just talking about. And like, where did that come from? You know, just from hitting, you know, from the gutter, hitting rock bottom and the bankruptcy and all that. I didn't even know that about you. So that's so inspiring. But like, was that the bottom? Is that what inspired this vision?
Well, I mean, we can get into it. In this country, it's very capitalistic. As a man, you're kind of ranked by your status, by what you have, by what you own. In my 20s, when I was in real estate, I was making a lot of money. I mean, a lot of money. So then I had a nice truck, and then I had 26-inch rims and a boat and this and this and that. And that's kind of how I defined myself. And it's all BS. It's all fluff, especially realizing when you lose it, it's only you. You have yourself when you're left with nothing else. So then I was like, well, that didn't really define me. I'm still me. I still had to climb out of it. There's still mental stuff and depression and things to deal with. But realizing that that shift was in the fact that amassing money for the sake of having money, for the sake of that status, was what was driving me. And once I lost it all, I realized like that wasn't enough. That wasn't a good, strong driving force, because it could be gone overnight. So now I'm just driven by impact and what I'm doing and what I'm creating. Money's a byproduct, and it's coming in and it's great, but I'm doing exactly what I'm meant to be doing, and the purpose behind it. But a lot of that came in, I think my entire life I've kind of operated in the space, whether I knew it or didn't know it, innately, and then down the line, a lot of emotional intelligence, it's become a buzzword, it's become a topic, people getting smart with that. As a jock, as everything, you're taught to just be a man, don't be sensitive, don't cry,
Shake
suck
it
up
off,
the pain,
rub some
right?
dirt on it. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, okay, tape it up.
I'm good. Yeah, put some tape on that broken leg. Hop it off.
Realizing, and it's still hard, but realizing that the strongest man you can be is your most vulnerable self. And if it's crying in front of everyone, then that's what it is. Hiding that back, anyone can hide it. Letting it go and just being you out there, now that
it's hard. Embracing yourself. And like this whole show and just like blogging before I even got into podcasting was basically just like a journal, an audio journal. Now more of that now, but it just was a platform for me to just get shit off my chest, be vulnerable. And the more I've opened up, the more people vibe to the message, the more you attract like-minded people, especially when you're going for that impact instead of the glory. Were you always a creative then growing up?
Yes. So I've always been a creative. I've always done art. My notes in school, if you look all around them, mazes and characters and cartoons and you name it, it was always colored and always filled in. In high school, I used to do book covers for people and I'd write their names or whatever.
So like the brown paper bag covers on textbooks?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
Then my mom would put contact paper on them. So I got smart and like, oh, if I put clear contact paper, it's going to last longer. Sell it as a product.
Smart. I want to get into your product game later too. I want to touch on that.
I've always been a hustler on that side too. But yeah, creativity is always there. I was in Photoshop. Not Photoshop didn't exist back then. I was in photography, loved it. Wood shop, 3D design, knitting, wood whittling, electronics, you name it. Whatever we got stuck in to do, it was awesome. It's all skills that eventually transfer in some capacity or another. It's problem solving. The more opportunity you have.
Is problem solving in general, for sure.
Yeah.
What sparked that? What rekindled your relationship back after going through like chasing the money, chasing the status? Where did painting come back into the mix? Where did you rediscover that analog love?
Like 2013.
Because how old are you now? Just so we can have some point of context of like age.
39.
39. Okay, dude, you look like you're 29.
Thank you. 39. So 2013-ish. I always sketched and doodled. That was always there. That never went away. That's just one of the things I did. But actually getting back into painting, so I started painting. I started doodling little canvas things. And I've never been much of that. I did oil painting and I have some paintings throughout my parents' houses and things like that. And one thing led to the other. And I don't know, I painted my first mural. It kind of just from there, it was
just out of nowhere. The muse hit you and the strike of inspiration, strike while the iron's hot kind of thing.
A little bit, but no. So I went to a workshop called MITT. Lewis House actually signed me up for it. That's the backstory. In that workshop, I met Evan Meyer. Evan Meyer and I created Beautify Earth. He started the movement of beautifying Lincoln. Then he saw me doodling. He said, we got to get that on a wall. We found a wall. We enrolled our class to do the community service project as a mural. Painted my first mural. Here I am today.
That's how you got that's
so
awesome.
We could throw Lewis in on that too.
Man, That'd be dope, man. Lewis has been a big inspiration for a lot of things for me right now, especially this new mindset that I've had going into things. But how was that transition then from full-time suit to full-time artist? Because a lot of people are chasing that leap. You know, I do a day job on the side. I do web design, and then I pursue all this as a passion outside of it. You know, how was that process? Was there any in between, or were you just like, screw it, you had a nest egg or some savings and then jumped right into the world of doing art full time? When did you start monetizing it?
Oh man. Okay. 5 years into financial planning, advising, 401k, life insurance, and all that. So I've got all that knowledge and certifications and things, which apply to everything that I'm doing now. But 4 years, 5 years in, workshop happened, painted my first mural. Next year, paint 1 or 2 murals. In between that, I challenged myself to do like 100 days of paintings, 100 days of creativity of some sort. Posted it on Instagram, keep myself accountable. From that, we started the movement Beautify Earth, where the whole point is ending ugly wall syndrome, right? Beige, boring shit boxes surround us. That's really what they are. And they look like prisons. And you're just like, why is this worth $10 million? And it looks like that.
Yeah.
So through that, I started doing more of that. We're building out this nonprofit, and I started sabotaging my finance business. And by sabotage, I've always been self-employed, so I've never worked for anyone. By sabotaging it meant I didn't go after getting new clients. I took care of my clients. I did all my work. They were great. So it wasn't that I did anything bad there. It was more that I didn't take on new clients. I didn't take as many clients. I did less just because I wasn't happy. I wasn't fulfilled. I wasn't driven by money anymore. And that's a very money-oriented business. To be able to take all that rejection and do the hard work, it's not an easy business. It's a difficult business, but it's a great business and you're doing good things for people. So if you got this like balance of like, I know I'm doing good for people, families need this stuff. They need planning. They're going to retire, yada, yada, yada. But I'm tired of caring more for people than they care. And I'm getting all this rejection and it's not worth it because I don't really care about all the money I'm making from it because I'm not motivated by money anymore. And then over here on this side, the nonprofit's not paying us anything. That's just like, let's end ugly walls. This is awesome. Let's keep doing this. We love street art. And I'm painting more murals and more murals and more murals. Granted, a lot of this was unpaid, volunteer, out of my pocket. And I think one of the biggest takeaways in a lesson here, especially with working with as many artists as I've worked with now through the nonprofit, is investing in your business and your craft and in your product is what's going to get you going forward. So every time I painted a mural, that's a billboard. That's marketing. I'm not going to go put a Facebook ad, hey, hire me to do a mural. I don't know if it resonates the same way as putting up murals everywhere and then someone drives by and says, hey, I want that. Who is that? Let me reach out. And then they message you. So over time, and before I knew it, I had a clear style. I had a clear brand. I had a clear voice. Not knowing any of that while I was doing it.
Yeah, like how did you just stumbled into, because distilling your brand message, how you show up, how do you position your value to other people's, a lot of things that people struggle with, and you just kind of stumbled into it?
No, it's my truth.
How did you know your truth? Because a lot of people also struggle with their truth. They have a hard time embracing themselves or getting to know themselves, the emotional intelligence. A lot of people don't have that self-awareness.
True. And I mean, that comes from all the pains and the trials and the bankruptcy and this and
the bottom
struggle and the rejection and the doubt, all these things. So, and we could dive back into that in a little bit later. So, but continuing this, I was living in this half in, half out mediocrity, this space of mediocrity that it's just like, it's killing me. So I'm making way less money in the finance. Yes, there's renewals. Yes, there's trails. I did not, of course I saved money, but I didn't have this stockpile with an exit plan. I have reserves because I'm in finance. I've done some smart things for that reason. But if I had quit and turned it all off, not realizing on the other end if I could make money or not, that's not the smartest thing to do. You still need to make sure that you can put food on the table. But that's backsliding. This is kind of increasing, but I never see its full potential, this being the art. And I never see its full potential because I'm in mediocre space. Clearly this is failing. Yeah. So that's in between. I don't give this possibility. And one day I just stopped going to the office. That's it. I just stopped going in. still handled business for my clients, still did all that. I just was like, I don't care about my numbers. I'm not going to make sales. This isn't what I want to do. And I was just more here, more here, more here, more here. And, here we are now, making money, doing that full time.
I want to get back into like that part too. And from me on the outside looking in, like I'm a big observer person, especially like people who I feel have it together. They're providing value with people, making an impact, yet they also have a good relationship with their spouse. So how is your spouse? Because you and your spouse seem super tight from what I've seen from social, and I think that's so awesome. It's like your best friend, your right-hand woman. How important was her support pivoting to that spot? Because I know some people, like for me, my wife didn't necessarily see the vision that I had of myself. It took her a while to catch that little glimpse of potential too. Now she's all in, but was that difficult at the time for her to see, what you saw for yourself, or was she all in right away and been right behind your back?
Man, she was all in, and then she was in before I was in.
Keeper status.
So
shout out to the wife.
Yeah, all the shout outs. I actually always credit her too. So it's like Evan and the wife. That's who got us going. And one thing just to add before I dive into that is, I think it's very important to share social, and my wife and I are conscious about it. What we put out there is exactly who we are, what we are, the good, the bad, the ugly. I think it's really cool when people meet me and they're like, "Oh, you're just like that is you." I'm like, "Yeah, why wouldn't it?" Or
why,
you answered me, you replied. I'm like, "Of course, you're the reason why I'm doing this." So that's important, and I think it's important for everyone to realize they can come across. But it's not all just pretty pictures. I mean, people want to see the pretty pictures, but read the captions, read what we're talking about, read what's being posted there, comment, engage. I think that's so important, building community. But she was literally the muse and the catalyst also. And a lot of kudos to her for that, because you realize men and women are wired a certain way. And women are wired to find safety, and men are wired to protect and provide. And usually what you would say is like, you're in this great finance business, you are a leader in your office, you're doing well, you know what you're doing, keep doing that because I'm going to have a good life. She's like, you're miserable, you hate it, just stop doing it. I have faith in you, I believe in you, I know of your past and your history, and you've always been able to be abundant. So like, just go do that. So that was one thing. The other thing is I used to write poetry. Well, I still write poetry, and I would read it to her at night, and she's like, why aren't you like sharing that? That stuff's good. I buy every RM Drake book, and he's got 1 million followers and he sells them. Like, you can make money off that. So I started an Instagram account with my poems. Haven't been as active on it, but it got up to like almost 5,000 followers just from the poetry. But I separated out, so it was Ben instead of Ruben. It was kind of, so again, she was the proponent of me moving forward with that. So she is truly my muse and greatest supporter and advocate. And the other cool thing is, like, we put each other on pedestals, but we don't lose each other within ourselves. I think that's very important in a relationship. I've seen where one party does this and then the other party loses himself. I've been in relationships where I've been put on pedestals and I'm like, I can't do that. I can't. You're inhibiting me if you put me here and then I have to take care of you, or if it's vice versa, because then I'd lose myself in that. So I think that balance is important.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I try to wrap in relationships because that's a key component. If the spouse or significant other or your partner, whatever it is, if they're not communicated with or shared the vision or on the team, it's easy for them to resent you. It's easy for them to, not want you to win in a sense. And yeah, it feels like you both are winning right now.
Yeah, and honestly, it's like, who's gonna win first? Like, that's all. It's like, if it's you, if it's me, who cares? If it's one of us, that's all that matters. If it's both of us, great. But it's not like, if she just kills it and I could just be over here chilling, I'm great with that too. So, and that's what's really cool. And with that being said, I mean, I asked her to marry me by painting a mural and writing a poem on the wall. So
the two things that she was like supporting you with, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. I would love to know a little bit of like your daily process. how's this work from getting up to going to bed at night? How's your day look? How do you structure your day? How are you intentional with your time, taking care of yourself as well? I also want to talk about creatively working out because I think that's so important. And then how do you plan your next day or plan your attack?
Yeah. I am not a regimented, detail-oriented individual in normal sake. Like I'm very organized in what I'm doing. So every day is completely different. It does revolve around, I have to calendar my phone calls, my appointments, my meetings. Not on my calendar, it's not happening.
Yeah.
Plus keeping everything in order. Like for example, yesterday I kept playing phone tag with someone. We had a set time, that time was missed. But then we kept playing phone tag because I'm in this meeting or that meeting. I'm calling, or else you're playing this whole chasing game, and that's not conducive to business, to anyone's time. Time is the thing I value above everything else.
Finite
time
asset.
is worth
Yes.
It's worth more than money. It's worth more than everything. My time is everything. And the only thing that really gets me in a funk is when people steal my time. So coming back from the Chicago project, they canceled my flight. So now I was stuck 5 hours in the airport, and I shook most of it off, and I could have like wallowed in it a little bit more, but it's like, why? Okay, I could sit here and just be pissed off for the next 5 hours, or figure out a solution, or do something, or do some work, or do some emails. But still, I had a set time when I was coming back and moving forward for the rest of that day. So I just had to audible everything. Luckily, I had the app, and I just flipped the switch and got myself on a new flight, which could have been a nightmare because the 300 other people were scrambling and mad dashing. That's another test.
Chickens with their head cut off.
Yeah.
Yep.
So basically, going to bed every night is completely different, anywhere from 11 to 1. When I'm tired, I go to bed.
Your night owl.
Yeah, when I'm but I wake up at 6:45 every day without an alarm.
Wired like that.
It happens. So like I'm usually out of bed. I might push it and say, okay, I'm going to stay for 15 more minutes, and I'll do like a meditation or something, because you don't really go back to sleep. So I'll think about something. What am I going to do? Get up at 7, brush teeth, do that, have a strong coffee, head to the gym. So I'm at the gym by 8, train from 8 to 10. That doesn't mean I'm actually doing 2 hours worth of training. It's warming up, stretching, socializing, shooting the shit, doing the workout, maybe the cardio banger portion of it, and then cooling down and going back. And then from 10 on, my day is everywhere. I could be in the studio, I could be in the office working on the nonprofit or my new startup now, which we're just crazy going through fundraising and building it out, and wireframes and software coding and all these things that I'm completely new in. And in between all that, paying a commission, scheduling future mural projects, calendaring everything out. So the only thing calendared out are like project dates and travel dates, but everything in that I'm pretty flexible. So I want to keep as much flexibility as possible.
Do you own, I like that. I need to work on that for sure. But do you handle this all yourself? Is your wife in on the business too, or does she do her own thing as well? Or do you handle all your own calendar?
Thing. Yeah, okay. She does her own thing, and she's equally as all over the place.
Yeah.
With her meetings and running around and doing her thing. So no, this is all me. I need help. I know I need help. And this is the plight of the business owner, because
the delegation, where can you delegate? Where the delegation's the hardest part for sure.
Yeah, but you want to have your hands in everything. So, but I don't need to be shipping things out and sitting in the post office for an hour. I just don't need to do that. So I need to find the right person. We're working on that.
Fulfillment sucks, man. I actually, this year, since my son was born, I cut like all my online shop. It just taking an hour and a half every other night to ship and fulfill. So you're looking into like print on demand kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I don't know yet. Right now I'm revamping the whole site again, going Shopify, going all in. These guys approached me, and we're going to partner in some capacity. So it might be like a revenue share. And they're just going to run it, grow it, build it, do it. And
all you got to do is just do your thing, do what you do best, and create dope shit.
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah. And right there, it's like a piece of something is better than trying to have everything of nothing.
Ooh. Say that one more time, because I want this to be like one of the key nuggets.
A piece of something is better than trying to have everything of nothing. Yes, I have 100% of all of this here, but it's nothing. Or I have 20%, 30%, 10% of something that's actually working.
You're a wise soul, man.
Thank you.
All right, I want to go back to this creatively fit aspect. So being that, again, we're both a bit of creative jock meathead type, which I think is kind of rare at the same time. How important is taking care of your physical well-being and even your mental well-being now that you're doing meditation too, whether it's at night, in the morning, whatever? You know, how does it not only benefit your overall health, your overall mindset, but your overall creativity? Because a lot of us live that sedentary lifestyle and just stay glued into our screens or our sketchbooks.
The training is everything for me as far as how I get everything out, shake everything out. The vanity is a byproduct. It comes, and that's not the focus of it. It's more, I want to be strong, I want to be fit, I want to be healthy. I think I did a post about it. It's like, I want to play with my grandkids when I have them. I want to be 75 running around. I want to be training the same way I'm training now at that age. Zombie apocalypse. You never know. All these zombie movies and stories, you know, what we wish literally gets spoken into existence many times, and enough people at one point, someone's going to create something.
Yeah, that law of attraction, man. One of those diseases is going to get out. I just watched Zombie Land recently, and one of the rules is cardio. You know, so you just like outrunning that zombie in circles. I'm like, okay, I need to get on that treadmill, get my ass on there.
So
is that baby dad
I say it jokingly, but sometimes it motivates people. But at the same time, it's not like I'm terrified if this is going to happen or anytime soon. But I want to be able to protect myself, protect anyone around me. If I have to run, and I travel a lot, you never know what you need to do. So it really comes down to just being our best selves. I want to be strong. Strong people are harder to kill. You know, people are like, how much you bench? How much you squat? And I tell them, and they're like, what? And then I'm like, why don't you ask me my mile time?
You're ruining my rapid fire question right now. So I'll just ask you right now. How much is your deadlift, bro?
Deadlift, all-time best is 535.
Let's go. Swole. Okay. How much, how good is your mile?
All-time best is 505.
Damn, Forrest Gump. Killing it.
Right now, I'm probably running 6 minutes and change.
Nice, man. Nice. I'm getting my cardio game up, but this is more than just working out. But at the same time, I know for me, I'm on my best creative sharpness. My mind is sharp. My creativity, the juices are flowing. I don't deal with creative block as much when I've hit the gym or when I'm feeling good about myself, when I'm pumping out those endorphins. So, I mean, do you feel the same way?
Yeah, it's just the time. I like to try to be off my phone as much as possible, but it doesn't happen. It's still 2 hours of potential work, so you can do both. Maybe not as focused on the training when I do that. I'll never do it during the cardio sections or the HIIT sections, right? The CrossFit sections. But it is important. I mean, just for my mental health, I go a week without training. I'm just like, oh, I don't feel good. I'm a little fluffy. Body dysmorphia kicks in. You are in more pain. Like, even though I'm sore from working out, it's like this different, I didn't move type pain. And we're made to move. We're built to move. And, you know, then you start just putting in all those nasty thoughts in your head. So to me, it's like, I just don't, once I went and moved, and starting your day sweating with that foundation is like, what's next? The rest of the day is next. You got something done. Like,
you invest the time in yourself to be that best version of yourself. Like, bring on the rest of the day. Like, mine's usually at night because I got to work on my business in the morning, but still, that's awesome. I want to pivot real quick because we got a big mural audience, and I love doing murals as well. Not on the scale that you do, but I know a lot of people who also do murals, and that's why I thought you'd be a good fit. So, you know, again, we know how you got in this scene, so I want to, you know, ask a couple more questions about your process. So, first off, do you enjoy spray paint more or like outdoor acrylics, latex, house paint or something?
I use a combination of both.
In the same piece, like on the side of the wall?
In the same piece. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So it's not one or the other. So, yeah, I use both. So, my love pieces, like on Lewis's, that was all spray paint.
Yeah.
That's all spray paint. My writing and things like that are spray paint. But when you fill in these big sections, I use the roller.
Especially
It's
like when
just,
it's like a mixture of like you got your sections, like your vertical columns, and then some
yeah.
kind of type or anything over it.
Hmm.
All right.
And it just takes up too much spray paint, too much cans, too much waste. I'm conscious about like what's the impact we're making at the same time. So, you know, if I could easily go through 1,000 cans on one of these murals, or I go through like 20 gallons of the other stuff. So, you know, I do consciously make that choice. Although spray paint's quicker, and some of these surfaces that I'm painting on, it gets
Rough.
the job done quicker. So it's a combo of the two, you know.
Do you have a preference? If you were just going to throw down on the spot real quick in your studio on a canvas, what do you prefer?
Well, I'm just gonna go do a love piece with spray paint.
Spray paint?
Yeah, although so this is all brush. That's brush work.
You can tell. Yeah. Way
So
different than the
that's,
piece over there.
well, that's
That's
actually
painted.
oil. That's pastel, oil pastel, a new thing I'm working on. I don't have anything here that has spray paint behind me. So,
Tangent question. So I'm a script junkie. If I'm going to default to any type of font or lettering or typeface, it's going to be script. Where did the script come from?
um, the love script.
Yeah, the love script. Like, where did that come from? How was that your style? How did you define this style?
There's a lot that's out that I've never published. Like I've done tons in all caps. I've done tons in lowercase. And then I just started doing script, and I'm like, you know, script's a lost form. We don't write that way. I
Right.
write in all
And it's
caps. So
all, I thought I wasn't sure if it was like symbolism because script is all connected and flows in one, and you could
so
tie
it
that
goes
into.
into that actually. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So, you know, and then it's got the lean, like leaning forward. And if you see like from 2016 to today, like it's evolved so much into the way it looks right now. But love's infinite, so script's infinite. That
Mm,
moves as one line. It leans forward because you want to always be moving forward. I mean, that's kind of what it is. Love's based on everything. The colors stand for there's no right way, wrong way to love. We all love differently. We don't come with instructions. That's kind of really what it comes down to.
yeah, I vibe to it. What about do you grid out your murals, or say it's like it's a big ass outdoor wall? You know, do you use a grid method, or you just freestyling things? Or if it's indoors, are you more projecting kind of things? You know, what's your typical method for, you know, what each project is different. What's your typical method for, you know, two different projects, or which, yeah, just how do you project or how do you grid?
I've never done grid. Long time ago, I kind of learned gridding. Actually, but no, I do freehand, stencil, or project. So combo of all three, one or the other. It
How you
really
do one of
depends
those
on
big
the
ass one? I
time.
just saw like the old Sears building wall. How did you attack that one?
Projected that line.
Okay, so you had to go out there like super late at night or early in the morning, and did you
Yeah,
just
late
project
late at night.
project sections?
Did the whole thing.
Is this like a projector that you stole from a science lab to get cover a whole building like that?
No, it's a regular
It's Bill
projector.
Nye's, the science guy's
It's a
projector.
regular projector. The thing is, it's only going to give me lines and spacing. I
Hmm.
still need to know what I'm doing, because when you walk up to it, you're like, "Where's the line? This is a square. This is a pixel. Like, what's happening here?"
Yeah.
So it's more to just being able to do the sections.
Are you
It's not
chalking?
for
Are you chalking your guides
spray
then?
paint.
Spray paint.
The
Okay, so just like white
spray paint.
spray paint line or something.
So the lines, if I do vertical, I do chalk lines. I do tape, eyeball it.
Mm,
Um,
like chalk line
straight
stuff.
edges of story. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, okay.
But that's all random. That's all I kind of decide as I'm doing. However, I chop it up, whatever the colors are. So
Perfect. Okay. Any
yeah,
tips on pricing? Do you price on like square footage? People love to know these details. Like one of the questions I get the most is like, how do you price a mural?
yeah. I can you tell me that? How do you
Some
price it?
people like minimum going rate depending on details, like $35 per square foot. Some other people
Yeah.
who've been doing it a while are like $50 per square foot, also depending on detail
So there's something deeper in the pricing game. The pricing game comes down to self worth
and value.
and
It's value based
and
pricing, but like it's like a
and ego, though. Ego, because
ego.
sometimes someone's like, "I want 200 a square foot." Why? Because I'm me. Or yeah, I'll do it for $5 a square foot. Why? You're not making any money. I don't know, you know. So it's a sliding scale. A 10 by 10 wall at $30 a square foot is not enough.
Hmm.
That Sears building at $30 a square foot would be $200,000, right? So
Was that a payday then for you?
no, I didn't get paid that. But no, I'm saying, so you can't really use square foot all the time. I think it's how you're attacking the project that you're doing. I've set minimums. I really won't do anything for less than 5K now, unless you're like a homie or something, just because it's my time going out
Even
there.
that's helpful, because it's not just the time you put into it. It's the time that you put into experience to get to where you are today. The time, some people for school, some people for online workshops, or any time that you've invested in yourself on top of the value it provides. So if it's for a big end customer, you can charge more. But if it's for a local mom and pop, you know, it's a little bit different. So there's a lot of factors, definitely. But I don't know if you had like
All that's into account. Is it a prime wall that I'm dreaming of doing? Like deep down, sometimes you're like, dude, I'll just do it. Like,
yeah,
pay me, but I'll just do it. I'm not going to tell you that. But you know, at the same time, I'm like, Ruben, we want you to do Ruben. I'm like, okay, this is what it's going to cost. There's this. It's such a hard question. I don't know how to answer it. I'm still trying to figure it out. As long as I walk away from the project and don't feel like I undersold myself or was cheated, I'm happy. I know that's not a great answer, but
I think it's a
you
way
know,
great answer.
okay. But
Yeah.
like one of these, like an 8x8 or something like that. I mean, 5K is kind of what it's going to be. It's my skill, my expertise. That's gross. So it'll include supplies and things like that. If I have to rent a lift, that's an add-on. I do have insurance, so like you're getting an insured
Talk about
artist.
the
That
insurance part. Most people don't even know about this. So do you have insurance on yourself or on like the equipment you use, or like say you do something on someone's side of the business and like a bunch of paint spills? Like explain the process of being insured on something.
the insurance, that's just being a business owner.
Yeah.
So we forget that we're running a business. And people ask, and I know it's a hang up for people. So it's like $1 million liability policy. It's more if people get hurt or something happens, spilling paint on the ground, that happens. You know, sometimes they're apologetics and they'll be like, okay, cool, thanks. I know you didn't do it on purpose. Or you power wash it or do whatever you can, or try to get a matching gray spray paint. You just paint over it back
Ah,
in gray.
cheat codes, cheat codes.
Yeah. So it's just being a professional. Every time you level up and show how professional you are, it only adds to the value on top of what you're doing. So operating through the nonprofit, I've heard horror stories where people are like, you know, we're not going to hire a muralist because we paid him and he took off. He painted half the mural and left, disappeared with my money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and these were people that paid significant money. It wasn't like $500. You know, I was like, no, I gave him $8,000 and he painted 2,000 worth and left.
Mm.
So I think as much as possible that you can make yourself look professional and take those doubts out of people's minds and those conversations. I also don't collect the whole payment up front. I'll do a deposit.
50% up front, 50%
Yeah.
post. And you
Yeah.
obviously have agreements too. The more professional you are, having an agreement for both parties.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, this is a lot of things people don't do, Ruben. Comes
Yeah,
natural to
yeah.
you, but that's why I'm trying to distill the information to people see how a professional operates.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite brand of paint that you recommend?
Whoever hooks me up.
Is it a
It's
lot
an
of time?
expense. It's a hard cost.
Oh man, I'm sure, especially when I saw that mountain of spray cans. If you're watching this, I mean, maybe you can see it. I'm not sure if I was recording before that, but do you bake it into the contract that a lot of people will then cover supplies for you, or is that baked into your final pitching offer?
I kind of give just a gross number. I don't really, it's hard to really start adding line items to everything because then they're like, oh, okay, so if you're charging X and your supplies are X, what is all this extra going to? Well, yeah, that's my fee. And then they start thinking, I'm like, yo, I'm there for 12-hour days, 5 days straight, just grinding. What's my hour worth? You want to start breaking it down? It's like people forget that. So, but for the most part, it's not like a huge gap difference. If you rent a lift, it's $2,000.
Yeah, it's
If you
expensive as hell.
need a 50-foot articulating boom lift, right? A scissor lift could be $750. So that's just part of the cost. Paint could be, paint is depending where I'm at. I do get a great discount. Sherwin-Williams hooks me up. 50% of our cost can also be the paint, the rental needs, all the paint supplies, and everything like that. So realizing that a big chunk of it is the hard cost.
For sure.
A gallon of paint's what, $55 to $75 plus tax times however many colors. Sometimes I'm using 25 colors in there.
Yeah. Oh my God.
25
Yeah, your
gallons
work
of
is
paint.
hella colorful too. Mine's very basic, monochromatic in a sense. Then also, so you kind of differentiate your income. It still requires your time. It's a product and service of you, but your mural work has then led to like gallery pieces as well as like custom pieces for people. So
Mhm.
how does work come in? Is that usually through Instagram? Like, how are you attracting these pieces? And then, is most of your work come through Instagram?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
It's
then
been
just
organic. So
word of mouth
Instagram
too.
for no, my murals. Someone walked up to a mural, I like it, and
They see
they
that little
took the time
stencil
to
call to
find me.
action at the end. Yep.
Yeah, well, just my signature and my name. So then that goes back through Instagram because they look me up through Instagram. So Instagram's a connector that you can put out. I'm not going to put my email address on a wall, but I'll put my Instagram handle.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
yeah, but everything I haven't done any. Everything's been organic. I'm to the people are asking me, do you have an agent? Do you have a manager? Do you have this? Like, how did you get that TV thing or this or
You're
that? I'm
solo
like,
dolo.
yeah, and I'm not saying that's the right thing. I mean, at
It's
some
whatever
point,
works for you. Because I talk to people who have representation, and I talk to people who just go all out doing it themselves. You're not a businessman. You're a
yeah.
businessman.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Jay-Z all day.
Yeah.
No, the thought is if you get representation, they should bring you more business to the table. So if someone said, hey, I'd like to rep you, like, yeah, anything you bring in, fine. Again, goes back to saying giving up a piece of something that wasn't on the table, big deal. It wasn't there until they brought it to you. So I have no problem doing that, but it's also starting to find the right people that get the mission and get the vision. I can't just have anyone come in and just like, look, I could pitch the crap out of you and put you everywhere. I'm like, no, I still got to pick and choose and be smart about it.
Smart. Yeah. Because
Um,
you do have just the brand. Immediately when I go to your page, I know exactly who you are, what you do, what's in it for me, and why should I care? Passing the grunt
mhm.
test. And everything is so aligned. And I think that's why you're winning. And I think a lot of people need to be more strategic in how they show up and curate themselves, yet still be them true selves online, of course.
Mhm.
All right. What before we go into rapid fire question, what's one piece of advice you give to your past self when you were just starting off?
Mm. I mean, it depends. I kind of just do it all the time. So
Like maybe when you were struggling, or maybe you lacked self-confidence, or when you were living in the in-between. Because
it
sometimes I feel
basically
like I'm in
it
the
basically
in-between.
goes down to that. It's like spend less time in the in between and more time acting and less time reacting. So be proactive versus reactive and don't sit in the middle where you're losing time. That mediocrity space, I was like 3 years of being half in, half out. Like, what could have happened if I took the leap sooner?
Mediocrity space. I like that.
So that's what I've been
I'm a
calling it.
note taker too. So yeah,
Oh yeah, no
I'm
worries.
not
That's what I
ignoring
keep
you over
calling
here
it.
with my Twitter thumbs or anything like that. This is how I build the content out. But I think that's great. That's also about challenging your comfort zone. Stop living where it is comfortable. I know I'm going to get to that point where it's going to be shit or get off the pot. Get this debt out of here from student loans that I got myself into, and
Mhm.
it's time to take the leap into Perspective Collective full time. So hearing this is actually really inspiring. So, all right, rapid fire question. It says rapid as you want. You can go on a tangent. All right, it's just the section. So if you were on death row, my friend,
Mhm.
what would your last slice of pizza be?
Pepperoni.
My man. Any more specific?
Not really. Maybe I like thin crust. So if I had to choose like a region, I guess a nice big fat hunk of New York pepperoni pizza.
Word. All right, I'm a pepperoni guy too. If you could have lunch with one person, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Man, there's so many people. Can I want two people. I want to put two
Go for it.
people.
It's your world,
The
man. We're
Rock.
living in it. The
The
Rock,
Rock.
yes.
But
The
I want to work
president.
out with him. I want to work out with him. My friend actually was in a movie with him, so it's like I'm right very close to. She's like, come, just show up in his gym. But anyway, Elon Musk.
All right. I like both of those, man. So you're like,
Yeah.
what's that? The 6 degrees separation of Kevin Bacon? You know, you're like only 6
Yeah,
people
yeah.
away from knowing Kevin Bacon. You're only
You know,
one
with
person.
social media though, it's 3%, 3 people, like
True.
3.2 on average. But I'm actually one person away from Musk also.
So that means I'm
So,
3.2% away from getting to shake Kobe Bryant's hand.
yeah, I played basketball with him once.
You did?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Here's another rapid fire question then off the top of my noggin. So I'm a huge Laker fan. You like basketball? You got a sports team around there?
Lakers.
Okay. What do you think of this whole Clippers situation?
Oh God, I don't even want to talk about it.
Oh my God, dude. I was living on my phone, like waiting for these notifications to go off. And in the middle of the night, for me, I'm 2 hours ahead of you. Kawhi goes to the Clippers. Man, I thought we had it as a wrap, and all the sources are saying, yeah, oh, it's for sure just between the Lakers and Toronto. He wants the Cali life and that Paul George trade, and now Westbrook going over here. It's going to be an interesting year for the Western Conference, man.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I honestly, also, I've been so busy in this creative space that I started limiting things because I've gone to hundreds of Laker games. I used to, when I was in real estate, they gave us tickets for free. So like we were there, we checked out the game. Like I've seen all of that, the Shaq, Kobe era, everything, Magic Johnson when I was a kid, all
Damn.
the stuff. And it's been amazing. And Trojan games too. And now it's like, I haven't paid attention to it. Once Kobe left, it really, really, really was just like, God,
That made
the
me
Lakers fan, I'm
sad.
going to cheer for them, but I'm like, Kobe was my everything.
Kobe was everything.
Basketball.
I even wrote a blog post about 13 things we can like learn from Kobe Bryant, the Black Mamba. But all right, you just got some more credit points in my book, man. You couldn't get any. You got cooler somehow. All right, what's your favorite product collaboration you've made to date? You said you're redoing your product site, but you know you got products on your website. I'll link it up in the show note. But what's your favorite product collaboration you made to date?
Collaboration.
And it
I
doesn't have
haven't
to be
done.
just a product. It doesn't have to be just a product. Could be just the dopest surface you worked on too.
Okay. Well,
I got one I want to ask you about.
yeah, I don't know yet. I mean, I know what I have ideas in my head of what I want to do next.
Yeah.
Like I want to do a commercial airline. I'm pitching that.
Sick.
I don't really have a favorite.
So
They've all been fun. They've all been challenging. They've all been, I did this chair with this curve, and I'm like, how am I gonna? The spray paint's gonna like, how do I do my thing in that? And then I figured out, and I did two versions of it. So it's more the challenge of doing it and surrendering to the surfaces, the curves, the changes. Things are going to change what you would think it was going to look like, but as long as you did your best, that's all that mattered.
all right, so my favorite one with a utility purpose that still has a dope design is your Love Tumbler on your site. Go check it out. There's a free plug for you. And that Ducati that you did. The bike.
Ducati, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Terrified.
People need to go see that. Is that yours?
It's out at my buddy's shop. So
Okay, I think I saw it like a photo of it within your studio. I'm like, damn,
it
rolling
was
around
here.
LA with that.
No, I remember we masked it off. We got it all ready. I'm like, I might the first can of paint, and I'm just like, oh, okay.
I would have shit a brick, man. 2 bricks.
Yeah, and then I finally put the first one, boom, 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 3. I'm like, all right, let's go.
Got lost in the
Right
sauce
after
from
the
there.
first one, it was just
Sick. Yeah, no, that's a dope piece too.
Yeah. Oh, that thing. I love that thing.
Okay, that one's sick. So I wanted to throw that one out there. 2 more small little questions. How do you unplug and disconnect from the grind? Because if you're like me, your work is play.
True.
I know you travel a lot.
I get off my phone as much as I can. And at night, like my wife and I like to watch TV. I mean, she stays on the phone because she's working. But I'll try to put my phone away and we'll just binge a show or something.
What's your
Stranger
show?
Things. I was one of the 40 million.
Yeah,
it's not my show, but like it's a show that I binged.
You Game of Thrones fan?
Of course.
That's like I'm a hardcore. If I was borderline obsessed about anything other than pizza, it'd probably be Game of Thrones. So
yeah, and I have zero complaints about the last season, and the haters keep on hating. You have like you just that unhappy with your life. Who cares? Like,
yeah,
go create it yourself.
Enjoy and go do your own thing. Make what you wish to see in the world instead.
Yeah, and it was made, and it is what it is. You're not going to change it.
And I just want the last.
They're not going to redo the season. Yeah,
George R. R. Martin
Redo the season because of your petition.
Get your damn books out there, George R. R. Martin, if you're listening to this show magically. Okay, last one. Where can people go to follow you and support you online?
At Ruben Rojas on my Instagram, rubenrojas.com. Everything's at Ruben Rojas. Twitter, not that I tweet that often. Facebook, what else is out there? All the things.
All the things. My man, dude, this is fun. I feel like I've already known you for a minute now, and it's been a pleasure to have you on. I'm honored, and I respect your time, and I appreciate you giving us your time today, because time is our most finite asset. And man, you dropped a lot of knowledge today, man. Thank you for opening up and sharing all the goods, being transparent, and just being here present.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
No problem. We'll keep in touch. All right.
Cool.
All right,
Bye-bye.
Thanks again for listening. It'd be awesome if you took the time to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and let the comment below so we can connect. Again, if you want to catch a shout out as a future listener of the week, make sure you subscribe to the show on iTunes and give it a rating and review.